Hello, good evening. The British serviceman killed in Afghanistan on Wednesday has been named as Marine Anthony Hoteen. The 21-year-old served with Alpha Company, 40 Commando, Royal Marines. Forces news reporter James Hurst joins us from Camp Bastion. James, where did this happen?
Once again, Kate, it was in Sangin that this happened. Marine Hoteen was on a reassurance patrol with Alpha Company in the area around Patrol Base Jamil on Wednesday morning, and it was during that patrol that an explosion happened, killing Marine Hoteen. Known as Tino to his friends, this was actually his second tour of duty in Sangin. He was there a year and a half ago on Operation Herrick 9, and his commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Paul James, said today that he had wanted to return there for a third tour next year. Paying tribute, he said that Marine Hoteen was a brilliant young man who was at the height of his profession, adding he was one of the most loyally committed men I have ever met.
And James, you spent part of this week with Marines from 40 Commando.
Yes, we were just north of Sangin in Kajaki with Delta Company 40 Commando, and we were there on Wednesday when this news was released. Understandably, a sense of sadness among the men we were with, but as always, the work continued. Now, you saw yesterday the ground defence patrol that we were on that day, but it is not just the ground. There is also a vast expanse of water that needs patrolling and defending in Kajaki, as my colleague Tim Cooper explains.
Leaving forward operating base Zeebrugge, we begin the mile or so journey to Kajaki reservoir. Along the route, the River Helmand thunders past. Our destination reached, and the Royal Marines from Delta Company prepare to take to the water. Well, this really is a vitally important area. This head of water here, one of its main purposes is to provide electricity. It runs down through this dam and turns two big turbines, and that supplies electricity to the Helmand Valley area. And the water itself, once going through that process, then goes down the River Helmand and irrigates the green zone, which is, of course, the main population centre for Helmand province. It's vital this area is kept in ISAF control, and that's the primary purpose of FOG Zeebrugge's personnel. The boats whip along the surface, 40 horsepower engines fully engaged. Marines keenly observing the terrain with a 360-degree view. Well, this patrol on water is by no means routine. Foot patrols and vehicle patrols are the more normal. But this is such a key feature here that using these craft gives Delta Company the vital means to see over this important area. The reservoir contains more than 250 billion gallons of stored water and stretches to the mountains far distant in all directions. To cover this area on foot or by vehicle would be all but impossible. That's the beauty of this boat patrol.
Obviously, you've got a bit more freedom of movement, no ID threat on the water. We can get fire support, gun lines into positions that we wouldn't normally be able to get them on the ground, so it just gives the lads on the ground that extra bit of support, really.
The dam was built in 1953 with the first electricity turbines installed in the early 70s by the Americans. It currently produces 33 megawatts of power running two turbines. In 2008, the British delivered a third, although its installation has been hampered by logistical difficulties getting 900 tonnes of concrete to the site. Once the water has passed through the hydroelectric process, it irrigates 650,000 acres of land along the green zone before heading into Iran, where under an agreement, 26,000 litres of water a second is supplied. Today's boat patrol is only an occasional part of 40 Commando's strategy for this area, but along with routine foot and vehicle patrols, plus their continued presence in FOG Zeebrugge, it helps keep this resource operational and out of the hands of the insurgents. Tim Cooper, Forces News, Kajaki.